DonInLondon, hello, it's October 19th, 2009. Where is this month going? It's going so quick. My videos all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. My substance, alcohol, my behaviour. Guess what? I cross-addicted, and for new people that simply means that if I can't take a drink, I'll probably try and find something else to get addicted to or become self-obsessed about, namely me. And in the past it was work, relationships, the gym, being right, always trying to be perfect. And of course, we are never perfect. We've always got progress to make, and if we're lucky, we understand. One day at a time, we get to know ourselves a little bit better. If we have an open mind, are willing and honest to change. So for me, I had to stop drinking, and I couldn't do it on my own. And it seemed like no power on earth could help me. So what happened? Well, family, professionals kept me alive long enough for me to get a moment of clarity, which was simply I had to let go of my self-will of trying to do it on my own and ask for help. And that can be very, very hard when we've been brought up to put on a brave face, cover our fear up and get on with life. And if we've done that, we probably feel less than often. But what helped me most of all, once I realised I couldn't do it on my own, I then went on a quest of still trying to do it on my own and failing miserably. So I became a 24/7 drunk. And knowing that, the fear it caused me, trying to find oblivion, wishing I couldn't wake up in the morning, not wanting to wake up. Well, there is a difference now, and it took a while to get there, and it took quite a lot of letting go to understand that there was a fellowship which could help me, and that fellowship is Alcoholics Anonymous, and AA, as it's abbreviated, is a fellowship of men and women who just try and share a bit of experience, strength and hope to keep alive and in the game of life, and then find out it's not a game, it's true, it's real, it's happening, and it's right now. So I go to AA meetings, and there's a statement of intent at the beginning, or a preamble, and it goes like this, and I make no apology for saying it every time. It's part of my daily meditation to remember what's keeping me safe and what's keeping me sober, and if it only takes 10 or 15 minutes to do this, then the rest of my 24 hours is okay. Why not? So here we go. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And yesterday I was asked to go to a newcomers meeting at what we call the Hut, which is down Flood Street from the King's Road in Chelsea, London, and do the chair. And that just means I share at the beginning and then people share back, and it's one of those meetings where, being newcomers, it can have people who are old timers, been there for donkey's years, as we say in the UK. Donkey's years just means decades. And they tend to be about because they need to hear the message, not only from old timers like themselves, but newcomers too, what it's like to be in early recovery. And yesterday, from 1 hour or thereabouts sober through to, I don't know, decades. Anyway, they put me in the hot seat, and I always share what it was like in my early days, the fear, the vulnerability, not sure about anything to do with life at all. And it took me a long, long while just to make any sort of sense of what life could be. So these days, when asked to do a chair or something like that, I do it, and I've got a couple more to do this week, and I do it because it's part of fellowship. When asked, contribute in whatever way we can, but I know it takes it out of me to do them, so I have to moderate, I guess, and be aware of what I need to do as well. So balance in all things. Anyway, today, Monday, daily reflections. This book is one of the AA literature books I really, really love, because it gives me an insight into each of the 12 steps of the 12-step program each month. So daily reflections for today, it says AA's main taproot. The principle that we shall find no enduring strength until we first admit complete defeat is the main taproot from which our whole society has sprung and flowered. And that comes from the 12 Steps and 12 Tradition book, page 21 and 22. Defeated and knowing it, I arrived at the doors of AA alone and afraid of the unknown. A power outside of myself had picked me up off my bed, guided me to the phone, then to the bus stop, and then through the doors of Alcoholics Anonymous. Once inside AA, I experienced a sense of being loved and accepted, something I had not felt since my early childhood. May I never lose that sense of wonder I experienced on that first evening with AA, the greatest event of my entire life. And if only I got hold of that main taproot the first time I went. I was unceremoniously pushed through the doors of AA by a very, very worried sister, and I didn't get it, and I ran away. But then I got back. It took a long time, but now when I did the chair at the early meeting at the hut, and then nearby at Flood Street, I went to one of my home groups, and you know, that fear, that vulnerability, lack of intimacy with other people, not knowing how to love either myself or another human being, completely empty and washed out, powerless. I had to get there in order to make some sort of progress. So these days I'm very lucky, and you know, the chair last night which I listened to was all about, whenever I get to a meeting of AA, it does feel like home these days. But it didn't when I first got there, because I was so confused and fearful. I will never forget that, you know, the fear. I don't have to fear that anymore. But a bit of fear means that there's a bit of courage about, so, you know, it's a balance in all things. Anyway, for As Bill Sees It today, this one, I was going to read it yesterday, but I ran out of time. It says, the value of human will, and it does have a place. Many newcomers, having experienced little but constant deflation, feel a growing conviction that human will is of no value whatever. They have become persuaded, sometimes rightly so, that many problems besides alcohol will not yield to a headlong assault powered by the individual's will. However, there are certain things which the individual alone can do, all by himself and in the light of his own circumstances. He needs to develop the quality of willingness. When he acquires willingness, he is the only one who can then make a decision to exert himself along spiritual lines. Trying to do this is actually an act of his own self-will, or own will. It is a right use of this faculty. Indeed, all of AA's 12 steps require our sustained and personal exertion to conform to their principles, and so we trust to God or good conscience. What a gift! And it's when I take myself out of the equation often that the answer becomes apparent through other people. And it's step 10 this month, which is all about doing spot inventories of how we're doing. And this passage jumped out at me from this book, the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. And it says, we can try to stop making unreasonable demands upon those we love. We can show kindness where we had shown none. With those we dislike, we can begin to practice justice and courtesy, perhaps going out of our way to understand and help them. Whenever we fail any of these people, we can promptly admit it, to ourselves always, and to them also, when the admission would be helpful. Courtesy, kindness, justice, and love are the keynotes by which we may come into harmony with practically anybody. When in doubt, we can always pause, saying, not my will, but thine be done. In other words, good conscience comes in, and God maybe, as we choose to believe. And we can often ask ourselves, am I doing to others as I would have them do to me today? So, as with all these things, it's a matter of acceptance of where things are, making good choices in the day, and acceptance around the Serenity Prayer helps me always. So to God or good conscience, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference is always just for today.